So let's move on and talk about MetaCyto, which is something completely different and also even newer to, I think, this whole community. So it's a powerful tool for doing meta-analysis of flow cytometry and mass cytometry data. So it's a workflow designed to facilitate meta-analysis based on an R package again. So it allows researchers to jointly analyze cytometry data from different studies that may have diverse sets of markers. So the ability to perform a meta-analysis is significant in the cytometry field as it broadens the scope of potential studies, enabling integration and comparison of data types across multiple studies. So it's capable of identifying and categorizing cell populations based on marker expression and can compute population cell frequencies and median marker intensities. So I saw some polls going out, and I'd be interested to see, how many people have done cytometry analysis or have access to this data, because I think for this community in particular, it's very, very new. So the next slide, I had to do a little bit of homework to understand the difference here. So flow cytometry is laser based, so using the fluorophores, and can analyze cells in a mixed population. It's widely used in immunology as an example. Mass cytometry, on the other hand, or cytometry by time of flight, uses heavy metal ion labels. And so my understanding is a higher throughput. So there's a greater number of parameters that can be measured simultaneously. So use cases. So I'm not aware of any use cases on Biodata Catalyst yet, and there's no cytometry data that's been hosted by NHLBI yet. Although I've heard that this could change very soon. But of course, like anything, it can be brought in via a bring your own data or BYOD approach. If there's any data that you have access to is publicly available, you can link it. There's multiple BYOD methods to do that. So this app was actually tested using import data sets, which is available on the internet. I think you do have to register, but I believe it's freely available. And that includes cytometry data on that website. So how is this implemented on BDC? So like everything, it's like the STAR, it's available in the public apps gallery. So I'll just click over here. The way I find it is I go to the toolkit in this case and click on MetaCyto. So you'll see those apps there. I put it in the chat. So what's interesting, this was a workflow was created. So the other one is designed, so STAR was designed to run sort of like a quote unquote pipeline as one tool. This one was implemented as multiple steps. It's still the same R package, but in this case, it was broken out into multiple steps to make it more extensible. And I like that in some cases. In this case, I like it because it's not that complex. So this is about the limit. If there's more complexity than this, it's sort of better just to leave it as a tool because it doesn't enable that much that many changes by the end user. So here's another view of the pipeline. So it's the first tool here. You import the data, you pre-process it, you identify subsets, and then you run the meta-analysis. So why is a workflow good in this case? Well, you can make use of memoization in your project, for example, where you could run the workflow, and then if you wanted to iterate, identify different subsets or change parameters for the meta-analysis, you wouldn't have to recompute these first three. Your project would remember that. You could also look at the view stats and logs and see specific computational requirements for each of the steps. So I think it's fine in this case. But I've seen some which are like 10 or 20 apps, and I think that gets a little harder to understand and work with. Okay, so this is something new, and I kind of want to get your feedback on. So meta-analysis for cytometry data from import data repository. So I encourage everyone to look at this link when you have a chance. It'll be in the slides in our forum. So FYI, so this is not on Biodata Catalyst. It's a link to another sister platform of 7 Bridges called Cavatica. But we can enable something like this, or basically import something like this to our Gitbook documentation. And it's a walkthrough of a public project. So it's not on BDC, but all actions that, make a project, add your apps, everything will be described. Everything described there could be done on BDC. So I just want to get some feedback when you have a chance about, is this cytometry sort of project something that's interesting? What I think is great is that it takes the public project, which you can actually clone now that they fixed it. It takes a public project and walks you through it, and then also provides homework assignments. So we can easily implement this in a workshop, a little mini workshop if you guys want.